Minor. This is a band who I have been quite excited to really get into over a space of maybe a couple of years now. I first actually heard of them when I was at it's like a circuit festival, which is one of those festivals in Japan where you have all the live houses, and several of the live houses basically are banding together with a bunch of different band managers and a bunch of different bands to put on a show where you get a wristband, the audience members get a wristband and can sort of bounce between the live houses. Anyway, I had my whole list of all the bands that I wanted to see, met up with a couple of lovely people while I was on my way round, and one of them recommended, hey, we should go check out Me Minor. And as they were performing at the same venue as Caramel Candid, I decided to go along, and they were one of the most tight, professional, and just awesome sort of melodic rock bands I heard in a long time. And then just did a bit of research, started listening to their music, saw them a couple more times on my own fruition, and yeah, I was just very impressed with them. But anyway, I've been following their releases as well, and they've been getting more and more high profile as time's been going on, which I think they absolutely deserve. So anyway, this new song has just come out. And this one goes by the name of Hayato Karakuta to Watashi. It's really hard to read Japanese song names when they're written in Roman characters. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it is actually really weird reading them that way round. Anyway, we're going to be checking this one out. By the way, apologies, I'm going to be drinking a lot of water during this because I have terrible mouth ulcers at the moment. I think it's been a stressful week, and I think it's given me it's got a bit of a painful mouth, so I'm going to be drinking a lot of water so that I can speak properly. But anyway, I really wanted to check this out. This is a new song, came out a couple of days ago. I haven't been feeling too great, but I wanted to catch up on this anyway. This one came out on the 14th. Actually, apologies, it only came out yesterday. I thought it was a couple of days ago, but no, it's only yesterday. Anyway, let's check this out. Here we go. This is Me Minor. The apartment life. Ooh. I like that set. That's cool. Straight into what seems like a pre-chorus. Ooh, I like that. First chorus starting with a breakdown. That's usually saved for the last chorus. That's a nice big melodic chorus. I feel like half the song so far has just been that chorus. It's like such a big melodic chorus. He's got a wonderful voice. I love that there's so many bands come up with really good singers. Oh, nice. Oh, this is such a good feel-good vibe to it. And the last chorus has a breakdown at the beginning as well. I love that both choruses do that. And then that change of the underlying chord pattern the second time she sings the chorus. love that you can still hear the two layers of the two guitars doing different things at all times. And that beautiful kind of walking bass line, you know I love that. Yeah. Wow. Very well filmed video as well. I mean, I'll talk a bit about the video as well, but I mean, yeah, I just wanted to quickly say, the video is really nicely filmed. Let's leave the credits on the screen for a while. All right, first things first, let's just dive into the most important thing, which is the song itself. I really feel that not only did this kind of capture all the things that I like about Me Minor, but I actually feel like this is one of the best songs I've heard from them in a while. I mean, they have some really good songs, but this one's pretty strong. And the reason I say that is because if I were to sum up the things that for me make Me Minor special, and to be honest, in this kind of like soft rock, you know, Midland, not hard rock, kind of rock and roll, melodic rock and roll space, there's so many bands that you really do have to sort of do something to mark yourself out and make yourself special. And if I were to say what I think makes Me Minor so special, I'd say a big factor of it is that they managed to take that core melodic center of having a really nice, interesting, sing-alongable, easy to follow, catchy melody. But then they always add you know, a mixture of having the guitars always doing different things. You know, the two guitarists are always sort of doing complementary guitar lines that, you know, sort of bring the most out of it. You have one usually playing the rhythm, one will be picking and doing something interesting. The bassist is usually moving around, but in a way that's very subtle. You know, not trying to gain your attention with big slapping, but just kind of walking around, adding these, like, again, these extra layers of melody underneath. And then you tend to have really nice sort of rhythms. Here, fairly standard rhythm for the best part, but there's those nice little sort of stop-start bits. Love the fact that the two choruses, of which this song only has two, but I love the fact that they were broken up by having that breakdown at the beginning where, you know, sort of the chorus comes in and the drums don't come in with it. Everything's just like, you know, sort of just guitar, vocals, and then in comes the drums, in comes in the bass. I love that they did that both times. That's something which I've often joked about, the fact that it's almost a stereotypical thing that so many J-rock songs do that in the last chorus. Not a stereotype that I hate, but a stereotype that is unavoidably noticeable. So it was nice to hear them do that as just a standard on both choruses. I also like that the chorus melody repeats twice. Each time it repeats twice, but the second time around, so that the chord pattern that originally starts on a nice sort of kind of happy major chord, very happy. The second time the chorus comes around, it starts with a minor chord, slightly less happy. I do like the fact that they do that, so you get to hear, each time you get to hear the chorus melody twice. The first time sounding like that big rejoicing kind of thing you expect from a chorus. It comes in making you want to sing along, and then the second time she sings it, it sounds a little bit more doubtful, so now the extra emotional weight's been added to it. Let's just have a little listen and see if we can pick that up again. Oh. See, that second time comes in with that slightly more doubtful note. Can I pick up the first time? Where does the first time I start? See, that's a very happy chord. So it starts with that. Very kind of happy, but then the second time it comes around. So it sounds a little bit more unsettled there, and I like how the arrangement is doing that. It's kind of giving you that more interesting repeat of the chorus. So yeah, there's a little bit more to it than that, but the basic feeling that you're getting there is the feeling that every single time the chorus only in full comes around twice, but each time it's slightly different. And that again keeps up the level of just interest in the song. The song itself has that nice little thing where the bridge appears between the second verse and the second chorus, which the bridge there, kind of like nice how you got that head banging moment at the guitar solo, very cool. Kind of gives it a rock element, but what I really like about that even there is you get this sort of head banging moment, but it's not kind of heavy. You know, it's not kind of alienatingly heavy. It's not one of those things where suddenly it's like, oh, everything's going to turn metal. They just kind of take this sort of nice, jangly, middle-of-the-road rock sound they've currently got, and they just inject a couple of little stabs on the guitar, give it a little bit of punch. They don't have to go overboard. They just kind of use the energy that the song inherently already has at that point, change up the rhythm, and you get a nice sort of head-banging bridge. I got a little bit of bridge anyway. Oh no, that's all. There we go. Yeah, I just find that like wholeheartedly very charming. It's a well-structured song that in like 3.5 minutes, it feels like it flies by. It feels like nowhere near as long as 3.5 minutes. It feels like 2.5 minutes, which is always a great sign. It feels packed full of ideas. It flows quickly. I mean, as I said when I was listening to it, it gets to the first chorus so fast. It's a song that isn't sitting around dawdling on anything. And the longest section of the song by far appears to be the chorus. And as I've gone into in some length, the chorus itself is not just a sort of rinse and repeat, let's sing something hooky and catchy over and over again. It's a chorus that actually feels like it's really nicely developed, sing-alongable, but also structured in a way that stops it becoming boring and repetitive. Yeah, I found this just a very charming song. Video really well filmed. Yeah, a lot of stereotypes, man and woman in kind of low contrast setting, lifestyle things, and then band performing in setting with like kind of like an art installation look to it. But I thought it was cut really well. The camera movement was quick. The lighting's kind of nice. It's colourful but not so in your face. It's just everything about this is really well structured. I feel like the Sony influence is doing good for them. But yeah, Me Minor, what a cool band. I really enjoyed this. As I said, they've got some other songs. This is my favourite song by them ever. I'm going to have to compare it to some of the old songs to compare. I'm not sure if it would be my favourite ever, but I tell you what, this is definitely amongst the best ones I've heard from them. Really enjoying this. Looking forward to hearing more. But as always, get in the comments. Tell me what you think. And until I hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these. For now, ciao, ciao.